You do pronounce it Biehn.
It's Biehn, yeah.
Yeah, as in
a can
pork
of
and
beans.
beans. Okay. Well, Michael, now that we've settled how to pronounce your name, Michael Biehn, spelled B-I-E-H-N, which makes it, what is the derivative?
It's German.
German.
Yeah.
Well, I can identify with that. Wygant. It's a pretty German name, so we'll share some sauerkraut. Yeah, share a plate of kraut or something. Anyway, people will remember you from The Terminator, which was, I guess, the most recent thing you did before this, right?
Well, I did The Terminator. Actually, after I did The Terminator, I played a character that ran 3 episodes on Hill Street Blues. Yes. Which was a real sweetheart of a guy. And then I played another character on a 4-hour movie for television called Deadly Intentions, where I played another sweetheart. This is a guy who was a schizophrenic, a true story of a doctor who was emotionally abusing his wife and children. And then I did Aliens.
That, you know, as I look at you, Michael, it's strange to me that casting directors would put you in those kinds of roles. Did you especially want to do them, or what was it about you and your readings?
I don't know. I also did a movie called Lords of Discipline, which was a movie about the first black cadet in the South, where I played a nasty character. And I did a movie called The Fan, where I was with Lauren Bacall and played a psychotic character too. I did a lot of kind of leading boy characters when I was younger, and I think that you sort of hit an age range somewhere between 23 and about 27, where you're not leading boy anymore and you're not quite leading man, so you're just sort of picking up the pieces, and I think that's where some of that stuff came from.
Did you get this role as a result of working with Jim? Working
in The Terminator, yeah. We got along real well in The Terminator, and they just called me. Gail Ann Hurd, his wife, and producer of The Terminator and Aliens, called me and asked me if I wanted to do it, and I'd read the script months before, and I said absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you people have a monumental hit on your hands.
Yeah, it's a fabulous movie. Absolutely fabulous. I was in the theater, saw it for the first time a couple of nights ago, and the audience reaction to it was just fabulous. Screaming and jumping, and there's a lot of humor in it too. Everybody seemed to be laughing and having a good time and cheering, and it was really nice to see.
Michael, do you think at any time that the movie is too scary?
No. I mean, I don't know. See, the movie doesn't scare me at all because I know what's going on, and it would be a kind of a pat answer to say, oh yeah, well it even scares me, and I know what's going on. I mean, it doesn't scare me. You know, it's hard for me to answer. I've never really seen a movie that is too scary. I mean, when it gets too scary, we go like this, right? I mean, that's what I do.
What is the scariest movie you ever saw, even as a kid?
Well, I actually would have to say, it's funny because some people will laugh to death at this movie, and other people it scares the heck out of. And for me, it was The Exorcist. It was just, to me, it was like, it was pretty scary.
Were you a teenager at that time, or younger?
I must have been, I was a teenager. Yeah, I think I was in high school. I remember seeing it when I was in high school, so it was probably 15 or 16, something like that, yeah. But see, some people can look at a movie like that and kind of laugh at it because they don't accept it as being real, but I did, and it scared me pretty badly. Yeah, yeah.
As far as you're concerned, I have to assume that you had seen the first Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as you're concerned, if you had to explain to someone the major difference between Alien and Aliens, what would you say?
Well, Alien was a suspenseful movie, and I would describe it as being a movie that, like you're walking down a dark alley, sort of, and it's very slowly walking, and you're looking, and you know something's out there, and you're being very quiet, and you're just, and you're waiting for it to jump out at you. It's just like you walk down a dark street, and it just kind of scares you. You think something might be out there. With Aliens, it is called Aliens because there are aliens, and there are a lot of them, and we run into them, and it's like a roller coaster ride in a fun house. And so it's a different kind of fear. Things are jumping out at you and scaring you all over the place. And so one is a fear that is based on suspense, and another one that is fear that is based on, action and things jumping out at you.
What is it like for an actor to be in this kind of film where so much in the way of special effects and firing guns and explosions and fire and hardware? What is it like for you?
Well, it can be difficult. It can be kind of scary at times because we deal with a lot of fire and explosions and guns. It's fun at the same time. The thing that I like so much about this movie, and I think also about the Terminator, is that when Jim writes a movie, even though it has all this hardware in it, there's such a human element to his stories. And with the Terminator, there was a real nice love story that was there, and in this story, there is an ensemble group of people who interreact, and characters they're full. And it's not that often that you get an action movie that is so entertaining at the same time you get roles that an actor can play and stretch as an actor. So it's a great combination.
Looking at this film, I would judge it to be at least a $20 million film. What is it?
No, I think that you've got your facts and figures wrong. $20 million is not a very big movie. $20 million is, I mean, it's going to be a much bigger hit than $20 million.
30?
The Terminator, for instance, made, well...
No, I'm talking about cost to make.
I'm
cost
sorry.
To make.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant how much money it was going to make.
No. But looking at it, it looks like it cost at least $20 million.
It cost, I think, a little bit less than $17 million. And that's because, the reason why it looks like it's a better film than it is, because James Cameron and Gale come from Roger Corman's School of Filmmaking, and they know how to do things. It's so fascinating to watch Jim do things. He'll do things where if he doesn't have enough of something, like the hypersleep capsules, when you see the movie, you'll see all these hypersleep capsules lined up, and he's only budgeted like for 4 or 5 of them, and he needed like 10 or 12. So he takes a mirror and he puts it on one side and gets a double reflection, and all of a sudden he's got like 12 of them. And they think that way. They think cost effective. And this is an incredible movie for that amount of money. I mean, it's all up there on the screen, every dollar of it.
It sure is.
Certainly wasn't in my contract.
Michael, you're fun to talk with. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations. I loved your performance. I think the film is just a whopper, really.
I agree.
Okay, thanks. Nice talking with you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Stop tape.
You got speed.
Michael, do you think this movie is too scary? What is the scariest movie you've ever seen? Were you a teenager then or younger? What do you think then is the major difference? No, excuse me. I didn't ask that. Okay. If you had to explain to someone the difference between Aliens and this movie Aliens, what would you say? How come a guy who looks like you do has played these other, menacing parts? I mean, I don't understand why they would cast you that way. Did you get this role because of your association with Jim Cameron in The Terminator?
You might want to ask that question about Aliens again, because you said, what's the difference between Aliens and Aliens? And it should be
Oh, excuse me. Okay, all right. Thank you. Michael, if you had to explain the difference to someone between the first movie Alien and this movie Aliens, what would you say? Looking at this movie, I would say it cost at least $20 million to make. What did this movie cost to make? Okay, now I'll just give you reactions.